Hello and welcome to a video on rates, ratios, and unit rates. We're going to start with some definitions here. Ratio. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities using division. You probably have seen ratios written in a variety of ways. Any of these are actually correct ways to write a ratio. You can write it as a fraction. You can write it with a colon between the numbers you're referring to, and you can even write it with the word to between your two numbers. Here, moving forward, it is going to be important that you write your ratios as reduced fractions. And part of the reason for that is because you'll not only be dealing with ratios, but you'll be dealing with rates and unit rates, and those are written as fractions. A rate is a ratio of two quantities with different units. So here we have 60 miles in 2 hours. We have two different units here. We have miles here and hours here. Or we have $25 for 2 gallons. You might be asking, where is the first unit? The dollar sign is actually a unit here. So we're talking about dollars and we're talking about gallons. Okay. A unit rate is a rate, but this time it always has a denominator of 1. So you'll see 30 miles for 1 hour, $2.30 for 1 can. Both of these, you'll see the 1 in the denominator, which is really important and required for unit rates. So let's take a look at a few examples. I'd love for you to pause the video right now and try these out yourself. For ratios, again, I'd love for you to write these as reduced fractions. When I say reduced fractions, I do not mean mixed numbers. I mean just reducing the fractions. Okay, if you'll pause and do the ratio ones now. All right, so the first one, 25 to 45, you would just simply write 25 over 45, and then you would reduce that into the lowest, simplest terms, which in this case would be 5/9. The next one would be 16 over 24. Again, you would reduce that to the lowest, simplest terms, which would give you 2/3. The last one would be 35 over 15. This is the one I was referring to. We don't need to change that into a mixed number. We can simply write that as an improper fraction, and that is totally okay. Okay, so in this case, that would be 7/3. All right, rates are pretty simple as well. You're going to simply write these as fractions with your 2, because remember with rates, you have 2 different units. So you want to make sure your units are actually present in your answers. Okay, if you'll pause and try those two. Okay, so the first one would be 80 inches in 10 days. You can reduce that. And so if you reduce that down, you would divide the top and the bottom both by 10, which would give you 8 inches in 1 day. And then the next one, 3 comic books for $3 would be 3 comics over $3. And then that would reduce to 1 comic for $1. All right, and then the last one, unit rates. As a reminder, you're going to start writing these as rates, but then you're going to simplify them so that you have a 1 in the denominator. So go ahead and pause and try those now. All right, so for this first one, 60 miles per hour. If you have a 1 down there, that's totally okay. It would mean the same thing. The next one would be 32 miles per gallon. Again, if you have per 1 gallon, that would work. That would be the same thing. All right, I hope this helps and have a great day.